I want to play. Jared Dudley added this on Twitter. Safety obviously first. Nowhere will be as safe as the NBA compound site they determined, but I don't think players know the effects of not playing does to next year. This is bigger than my team isn't in the playoffs, so who cares? No playoffs, no TV money, new CBA next year. Max, you're up first. Which side should have the final say on the NBA returning? Is it more the players or the owners?
Are you asking me, Molly?
Yeah, Max.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Molly. My audio is going in and out right now, so I'm catching every other word.
Worries.
Stephen A., maybe we start with you and we'll fix the audio.
Sure.
Yes.
Not a problem.
Stephen
Not a problem.
Go ahead.
Max.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Technical difficulties, it happens, y'all. No biggie. Here's the deal. I'm of the mindset that, it shouldn't come down to the players. There's a commissioner of the National Basketball Association for a reason. I certainly understand the mentality. Let's not lean on the owners. Let's not let the owners make the decision as if they have the best interest of all parties concerned. There's always going to be some skepticism, some cynicism involving owners simply because you're thinking about the bottom line, economically speaking. And you definitely think along those lines when it comes to the owners. Just look at what's transpiring with Major League Baseball at this particular moment in time in terms of their negotiations back and forth as to when a season should get started or if a season should be started at all. But we have raved continuously about Commissioner Adam Silver, his excellence as a commissioner. And it's not just about him working for the owners. It's unilateral decisions that he's made, obviously, after being advised of certain positions that people have or whatever. He's made a decision. He has stood tall on many, many occasions. The players appear to trust him, evidenced by no friction during collective bargaining negotiations and beyond. Obviously, league owners trust him. The public at large recognize him as an elite executive, as an elite commissioner that the professional sports in this country has ever seen. He's right up there. He's profoundly respected. And so trust him to make this call after taking all sides and all parties into consideration, along with the information given to him by the medical professionals in this nation. If this man is the commissioner for a reason. The players are getting checks. They're getting paid. Obviously, that doesn't mean that you shove aside safety. We understand safety is first, but everybody's situation is not the same. LeBron James might feel a particular way. It might be different than another player who's getting paid a low amount of dollars. Not to say that LeBron wouldn't want to play because he wants to play, where somebody that's getting paid, one that's not getting paid as much, one would assume that they may not want as much money, one would assume that they may not want to play as much because they may not deem it worth it for them. But in the end, what it comes down to is that the overseer is the commissioner of the Basketball Association, not the owners, not the players. You take all information into consideration, and then you come to a conclusion. That is Adam Silver's job, not the players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Adam Silver, one of the best in the business. Max, let me just reiterate the question to you now. I think you can hear me. Who should have the final say on the NBA returning? Are you going the owners or the players?
Well, if we're talking final say, it's in fact the players. And to appropriate a phrase that we've heard applied to our broader society, for lack of a better word, the essential workers, so to speak, in the NBA are the players. They're the ones who risk spreading infection, right, and spreading the disease because of contact with one another. They're the ones who, and by the way, as more is learned about COVID-19, it's not simply, well, you could wind up with it in your lungs. As I've mentioned in past shows, what is now being seen is that it can attack the brain, the heart, different organs. It's dangerous. And the mortality rate, although still uncertain, has hovered estimates between 1 and 3 or 4% of the flu. It's dangerous, and there's no vaccine, right? So the people who are not just risking spreading the disease, but also risking infection themselves, have a right to say, wait a minute, we're not comfortable with this yet. We don't think this is okay. By the way, is testing available? How are we going to make sure that if one positive case comes up, that we can isolate it and locate the virus? By the way, if testing's not available, you can't do that. And Adam Silver and the owners, Stephen A., are on the same page in terms of we can only do this if one positive test doesn't shut down the league, right? But it will if you can't have broader testing and consensus among the players that they're willing to take certain risks.
Well, first of all, there isn't a consensus. I mean, I shouldn't say there isn't a consensus. The bottom line is every player is not going to agree. The fact of the matter is there's 450 plus players in the National Basketball Association, Max, and all of them say we don't want to play. Of course you shouldn't play. But if 300 plus want to play and 100 doesn't, that means a decision has to be made, which is why it should come down to the commissioner. Of course, safety is first. We're assuming safety is a priority. That's why there are no games. That's why the league has been suspended. Clearly, safety is at the forefront of everybody's mind. I'm taking that for granted. I'm simply saying that when it comes down to a decision being made, that's what the commissioner is there for. And as it pertains to essential workers, which is something that you brought up, I got news for you, Max Kellerman. Essential workers are all over the place in our society right now, putting themselves at risk for the betterment of the whole. There's a whole bunch of people that are getting paid considerably less, that are putting their behinds on the line and are deemed essential workers. This is why I'm opposed to the PR stuff that the leagues are concerned about. For example, if the NBA says we need 15,000 tests, Max, that they said they're going to need, everybody's looking at it and saying, well, why should they get that? There are people out here that can't afford to get tests or what have you. But if those 15,000 tests enables you as a league to employ hundreds of thousands of people, okay, then you have to take that into consideration. Yay or nay was a decision for the commissioner to make. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.